All right, good afternoon, everyone. We will begin our Mayor's Summit, our second annual Mayor's Summit. I would like to introduce Mr. Barry Cherry, who is our chairman of the Etowah Chamber, to recognize our sponsors.
I hope everyone enjoyed their lunch sponsored by Big D's. And also our sponsors today are GMC, the Challenger Learning Center, for the Etowah update. I think I covered those. Did I miss anybody?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank y'all for coming out. I know Mayor Reeves appreciates it. It's a grand turnout. I guess you're going to have to go to the bigger community center. Thank y'all.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning. My name's Jason Harper, and I look forward to working through these questions and really providing an update from the mayoral and the Etowah County Commission's perspective. So without further ado, I want to introduce our head table. Mayor Joe Taylor. Mayor of Southside Dana Snyder. Mayor of Oaks Bluff, Scott Reeves. Council President, City of Gadsden, Kent Bagg. Mayor of Glencoe, Chris Hare. Etowah County Commission Chairman, Joey Statham. All right, so thank you again. Great turnout today. I'm going to start with you, Mayor Snyder, with this particular question. What do you consider to be the city of Southside's greatest asset?
I would say our community is. The collaboration we have with community and how much input they provide on different projects that we put out. I think that they're very important. We have a unique community. We're a small bedroom community. So we want to keep it with a small town feel, but then again, we have to do things to keep up with the growth. We've seen significant growth. We're going to see more growth. Got a lot of business opportunities coming up. So we got to keep up with that infrastructure and different things like that. And the community input is key in that.
Thank you. Mayor Reeves, Oaks Bluff, again, thank you for hosting us today. What would you consider your community's greatest asset?
Well, I kind of here.
It's all.
Can you hear me? I got to thinking about the question yesterday when I was looking over all this, and there's a lot of items I could have listed for our greatest asset. I kind of went off the radar, and I said, I'm going to say it's our citizens. When they choose to invest in your local economy, that's a big thing. You got to get people shopping local to grow your city. Our city will prosper when they shop local and spend their tax dollars local. If they shop elsewhere, we lose out on revenue that supports our local economy. Keeping your tax dollar at home is the best investment we can make for our community. So to me, our citizens are our greatest asset.
Thank you. I almost didn't recognize Mayor Reeves. I think we all have seen him in his Kelly green pants time to time, so I almost didn't recognize him. Joey Statham, Chairman Statham, talk a little bit about Etowah County and what you feel like is the greatest asset there for the county.
Jason, thank you for having us, and Chamber, thank you for having us. And of course, my thing is all about the mega site. I think our mega site here in Etowah County is one of the greatest assets, and I think it's one of the hidden gems that the state of Alabama has. We have the largest 1,250 acre site, the largest site for an industrial development in the state of Alabama. We have railroad access. There's been millions of dollars invested already into it, and I'll get, that later on if you ask a follow-up question. But our mega site sits between Pleasant Valley Road and Steel Station. It's right on the interstate. Like I said, it's 1,250 acres. We have already had potential prospects and people asking us all over the world, basically, how much more land can we get? And we're talking about companies that going to spend billions of dollars in infrastructure and talk about minimum of 1,000 to 1,500 jobs. And we're talking about high paying jobs, 95, to $100,000, average employee. I mean, this is a game changer for Etowah County. It's a game changer for the state of Alabama. It's a game changer for Southeast United States. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. And I could talk 2 hours, Jason, about it. So I'll stop right there. But that is the greatest asset that Etowah County owns. And we own it. And it's debt free.
Clearly a lot of energy about the mega side, the near mega side, and we'll go into that a little bit further later on in the conversation, but yes, it is a great asset. Mayor Joe Taylor, what are some of those exciting things that not that keep you up, but just get you really excited about the future of Rainbow City? What's going on in Rainbow City currently?
Well, just what Joey said, the mega site, the fact that it's going to be annexed into the city of Rainbow City, that's the biggest game changer this region will ever see, probably in the history of this state, as far as Northeast Alabama having something that's going to change the lives of everybody in this room in one way or another. I think the other thing is just the paradigm shift of politics in Etowah County has started to kind of make sense. For a long time, everybody talked about the good old boy system and all of those things that were in place. That's no longer in place. I mean, these are mayors that are willing to be in the room. We have a mayor's association that's incredibly active, and I think that what we're finding out is that our region's growing. It has synergy, it has energy, it has all of the things that make for the next opportunity. And I think seizing those opportunities has become quite easy for us. I think I know we'll talk about the mega site later on, but I found with a 208-acre commerce park that 11 months ago we didn't have. We had one tenant, and that tenant was kind of sketchy if she was going to be able to get that stuff put together for it to be an actual land for us. Now we had 74 parcels of property, and we only have 8 of those pieces left. And that's because of economic development that this city, that my council, there's a cohesive council, which I guess going back to the previous question, what's the asset of Rainbow City? It's not only its citizens, but it's a cohesive council. I think our citizens went out and they voted in a group of people that are selfless, and their intent is to see our city grow, our region grow, and especially our county grow. So I'm just excited about everything that's going on.
You may mention the synergy amongst both your council and the entirety of the elected officials in Etowah County. Clearly, many in the room have invested time and energy over the last few decades in getting that congealed. And I will say, from many people's perspective, it's moved in the right direction. So congrats to you all in the room where you have that friendly competitiveness behind closed doors, but that face to the state of Alabama and the nation as we're together. So to that, thank you. Council President Dak, what are some of the positive things that you all have going on in the city of Gadsden, and what are those great assets that you all are currently working on?
Well, that's a great question, and I do want to stop and say I concur with what I'm hearing so far. The mega site is transformational for Etowah County and Northeast Alabama. Great vision on y'all's part, somewhat 15 years ago or 12 years ago when that started, and then the combination of the marriage with Rainbow City when it moves forward, it's just a natural fit. I'm of the belief that what's good for Glencoe or the county or Rainbow City is good for Gadsden and vice versa. And I think that's evident, hopefully, in what our actions are. And the more we work together, I think the more good things will happen. But as what's going on in Gadsden, and now I've almost forgot your question, Jason.
So there's exciting things.
Exciting things. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. So excited, I forgot what you said. So, y'all, there are so many things. I could talk 2 hours on the exciting things. Councilwoman Manatra and I are here today representing the city of Gadsden. It's been said that Mayor Ford doesn't have any brakes on the truck. Well, he doesn't have any brakes on his Ferrari either. And so things are moving fast. It's hard to keep up, but Nakalula Falls has been transformed with the new RV park. Just the whole feel up there with the Design Alabama plan that was done some 5 years ago that we're implementing piece by piece. What you're seeing happen on Broad Street is a continuation of what's been happening on Broad Street. But from one end of Broad Street to the other, we're seeing a new city hall on the riverside of Broad Street. We're seeing the old Sears building that everybody calls it is going to have 20 really nice apartments there in the very near future. They're under construction, and a lot of things going on in between. The Gadsden Sports Park, probably one of the glowing things we have going right now is our relationship with Gadsden State Community College. It's always been good. It's always been solid, but it has really grown in the last 2 years. The city has probably invested in $25 to $30 billion in the sports park back there. We just announced at the State of the College address Dr. Murphy had the other night, a partnership, a continued partnership. They're bringing back cross country, baseball, and softball. So the city of Gadsden is partnering with the Gadsden State on construction of everything over there. So there's going to be a cross country track that's going to circle the property, 147 acre track. It's open to the public when there's not a cross country meet there. When it's constructed, 12 pickleball course. There's just something for everybody, but it's all in a partnership, and that's the key that I'm seeing in our whole county right now is partnerships. Partnership with the county and Rainbow City, partnership with Gadsden and other municipalities here with our law enforcement and fire departments, first responders. So just a lot of positive things going on. The Gadsden Mall, malls across America are just locked up and boarded up with sheetrock. Well, not our mall in Gadsden, and the city's not totally responsible for that, maybe not very much responsible for it. Kaylee Johnson's doing a great job of transforming that mall into a destination type place with the alley, with Beth Ann Mashburn's vision for what she's doing there. And then the theater just invested $3.4 million in upgrading. They've got those seats where when I go in there, I'll fall asleep. I won't get to watch the movie. Because it's that recliner, you hit a button and it reclines, and it's like being on the Jetsons. You push a button, order your food, they bring it to you. So that's exciting. And then Game Day's a new restaurant there. So a lot of things happening at the Gadsden Mall, which is really vital, y'all. That's in the heart of our city, right there, coming off 759 and then Rainbow Drive. Everybody travels that road. That mall does not need to be dormant, and it's not. And you got Food City, of course. They spent over $14 million with their investment. So a lot of good things happening, a lot of opportunities in Gadsden. But, I'm seeing opportunities for all of our municipalities and everything in Etowah County. Every time we go, we're talking about going to NLC meetings or the National League of Cities meetings or the Alabama League meetings in Huntsville this week. Everybody's talking about Etowah County. We're kind of it's just our time. And I think we're taking advantage of that. And the mega site's a large part of that. And so it's just an exciting time to be in Etowah County and to be in Gadsden.
Thank you. Mayor Hare, last but not least, your successes clearly look different than the city of Gadsden or Rainbow City, but very important nonetheless to your citizens. So could you talk a little bit about those positive things that are happening in your community and what your greatest assets are currently?
Sure. Our one thing you can hear amongst everyone up here is working together. That has been our goal ever since all of us was elected, and we're all pulling in the same direction. So that's when things positive happen. So, as far as our assets is our people that's in our citizens in our community. They're the ones that keep our small town. It's kind of like later on one of the questions you got to kind of balance tradition with progress, and with us it's hard to do being a small town. Everybody knows everybody, in our cities, just like Coates Bluff or Southside. Everybody's willing to help one another. I mean, there's nothing that most people don't know about. So the citizens and the things that go on is our greatest asset. And of course, we got a lot of progress going on that, our city has never really stepped out to be a growth of any kind of economic. It's always been basically a bedroom community. So we're kind of changing that format now in a positive way, and they're again still trying to keep it a traditional town. So it's slow, but progress is steady.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, since November, we've had a shift in administration, and so trying to gear our recruitment efforts and trying to gear our grant efforts and our conversational efforts towards creating a community that creates a sense of place and balance in that with infrastructure needs. Mayor Snyder, if you would talk to us a minute about what you're doing and what you've been doing with the council to create a community with a sense of place that folks that may be moving into the area ultimately with a mega site may be interested in moving to your community.
So some of the things that we have currently in the works, first off, we started off with a master plan. And now it's just implementing those things in that master plan. And some of the things that we're doing and that we have plans for is to improve our sports complex. We want to add some multi-use fields down there. We want to be able to bring in some regional tournaments. We want to bring in some regional tournaments and those kind of things. We have a project in the works right now, which is a sidewalk project. Nowhere in our city is there a sidewalk. So what we did was apply for a TAP grant through ALDOT and awarded $1 million for a sidewalk. And this is going to connect our high school to our football field. It's going to connect it to City Hall, our community center, and library. So this creates that sense of place or sense of a downtown type area. And it's kind of a phase one of a sidewalk if we can get that to construction and completed. But I think that creating those opportunities for different people, especially with the mega site coming in, we know we're going to have people moving into our city. We know that it's going to create job opportunities out of that mega site. So we just need to work on the infrastructure, create that sense of place for people to have the amenities they need to live in our city.
Thank you. Mayor Taylor, how can you encourage families to move to your city?
Well, I think starting out is first we have to give them a safe city. That's one thing that I can say. You know, there was a time when I hired a very, very young police chief and fire chief and was told I was pretty much a nut job for doing so. But what I was doing was looking for energy. And you find that in youngsters, young people. He's not a kid, but he's a kid to me. And finding out that you can create the safest city in the state of Alabama. And that's, you know, there's some argument about what that really means. But, you know, for the past 5 years and 3 of the 4 polls, we've been the safest city in the state of Alabama. And that's a credit to finding community policing, keeping crime low. And then the second part is you know, we're finding out, you know, how a very extremely qualified fire department, how important that is. It's easy for me to say, having been a professional firefighter for 25 years. But when I came to Rainbow City, what I found out was that I wasn't as overly qualified as I felt like I was. We have the most certified per person fire department in the state of Alabama as well. So I think looking for those number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions, and if you start looking at safe city, and I know I tend to belabor that point, there are 5 cities in Etowah County that fall on that list, fall up and down on that list almost every time they take that survey. So it lets us know that we're doing that one thing for our citizens that they have to have. People are not going to move to a depraved or deprived area. They're not going to do that. So us creating that sense of safety first, the ability to make a good wage and then also to educate your kids. We have a blue ribbon school in John Jones Elementary. We have an incredible staff at Rainbow Millet. We're bringing in the Challenger Learning Center, which is a game changer for the whole region, for thousands and thousands of kids. And then on top of that, you know, the city and my city council said, how do we enhance that for our kids? And so we launched into a $15 million recreational project, 50,000 square feet of recreation and aquatics as well, because the one thing that we couldn't do is swim our kids. And we need to be able to do that not only at a competitive level, but just give them that opportunity to get outside. We found out during COVID that what we can do is we can trap our kids inside and create mental illness. We did it. We were successful. And then now it's our job to go out as governmental entities and change that. And if we're not willing to do that, I promise you our troubles are coming. But I think just staying safe, giving them a place to go, giving them an opportunity to have a highway journey job, and that's what we're looking for. And I think that is one of the things that that Commissioner Inzer, when he was the chairman, came to me and we said, how do we solve this problem of this mega site? And it was to bring it into Rango City for us to provide those premium services out to our people. And that's what our people look for. They want premium services, and it's our job to get those to them.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayors Hare and Mayor Reeves, as you all know, even given the fact that Etowah County is, I think, the smallest geographic county in the state, you do have geographic encumbrances with the river and different obstacles and trying to get from one place to another quickly. With all that said, the mega site will have an impact on your communities. What can you two do? What can you and your city do and your town do to try to make it a place where individuals would want to move and recreate?
What we have tried to concentrate on is, and everybody in here that's married will know, if mama's happy, everybody's happy. So what we're going to try to do is encapsulate a family atmosphere, whether it be in the parks or baseball, softball, with the teams that we sponsor or the facilities we sponsor. Just trying to keep it family oriented, and what happens in other municipalities as far as growth is good for Glencoe. We're just trying to put rooftops in now. We've got one subdivision that's almost completed. We've got another one starting, probably about 25 houses in that. Really, growth right now is our mainstream as far as housing and commercial. So the river, as far as anything that affects us, we don't have anything really that helps us like it would be the waterfront in Gadsden. So other than having a nice place on the river to go and spend the summer with, that's about all we've got to offer on that. But just like I say, mainly keeping having a place for people to go, whether it be community center, parks, and two, I've touched back on what Mayor Taylor said about the safest cities. We too fall under that range, and having a police department that keeps everything, on an even keel, that it's not corrupt and crime and everything. We're very blessed with that, to have that in our city for sure. And then going into the fire service, our fire service, we have paid medical teams during the day. We've been very fortunate to have leaders with the police and the fire department that's always looking for things to be better for the citizens, and always trying to provide for what their needs would be. So we've kind of, like I said, even as a small town, it's kind of the same as everyone else. We just got a different feel. In Glencoe being located between 59 and I-20, we're kind of a middle destination place for somebody that would want to locate, because we can, one way you can be at one interstate going to Atlanta, and the next way you can be going north and going to Chattanooga. So that's kind of a unique geographical setup for us. So
if I could echo what Mayor Taylor, Mayor Harris said as well, we fall under that same category of being, most of the time, we're under 5,000. We're a bit smaller than these guys, but we're always listed in that top tier bracket of being a safe city. And I think that'll play an important factor with if the mega site does land large industrial automotive deal, then I think communities like Oaks Bluff and Glencoe will profit from that. Over the last, I'd say about the last year and a half, 2 years, we've seen an influx of about 100 houses being built in Oaks Bluff here within our corporate limit. And I think that's big for us. We offer a nice little quaint city that's quiet, safe streets, well-rounded police and fire department. Just recently, we were able to put on a medic each day to be able to answer calls during the day here. So that's been big for Oaks Bluff, And again, you go back to citizens keeping their tax dollar at home and investing in their local economy. It's enabled us to do that. So it's been a good game changer for us here in Oaks Bluff. But these families that go to work out at the mega site, when this happens, I'm positive it's going to happen one day. We're going to land something. They're going to have a place to live. And these small communities, I think they'll settle in. And we have a good bit to offer for them. We just did a lot of work at our ferry, spent a lot of taxpayer dollars over there, increasing it and doing a lot of updates and providing citizens with a place to go to the river and sit and eat or have a picnic or take their kids to play. So this springtime, the season we're in right now, we have a large influx of people on the baseball fields, softball fields, and soccer. So, small communities, we have a good bit to offer.
Thank you. I'm going to start with the chairman with this particular question, and want to mix it up. Try to limit your answer to one or two sentences. We're going to do a kind of a heat round on something. So I'm going to start with you, Chairman. What do you find over calendar year 24 and throughout 25 thus far is your biggest success at Etowah County and then subsequently with your municipality? What is your biggest success that you would see you or holistically with the county and or your municipality in calendar year 2024 and up through 25?
Okay, once again, I'm going to fall back, to the mega site. The mega site, we have literally just got approval, even it started this week. We're connecting the water and sewer under the interstate. People don't realize the things that are happening, going on there. The togetherness that we work with the city of Gadsden, with Rainbow City, with all the municipalities and all, that has been the game changer on this site. And I know I'm supposed to be short and sweet with this and all, but literally I remember a time, where that was not happening. And whenever the new commission come in, one of their goals was to kind of bring unity, bring, everybody together and all. And there were some times where I didn't think we was going to survive the mega site. I'll just be honest with you. But we worked our way through it. And I think the togetherness and what the mega site offers for each community, and every community, every mayor, every council, every constituent in Etowah County has come together, and people all around the world, not only the state, but all around the world, they see that, and that's the reason why this is fixing to happen.
Thank you. Mayor.
So one of our biggest successes for the 24-25 just in our city was that we actually partnered with the waterworks, Glencoe Waterworks, for a grant to update some outdated water lines. So that's been a big issue for a lot of our citizens with water lines and everything being old. Another thing was, when everybody has a park, not everybody has a dog park. So we heard a lot of our community people say that they were talking about dog parks. So we got a grant for a dog park, put in a dog park, and that has been a big success for our small community for being used. And we've also started if you hear about it, it's called Gateway to Glencoe. That's as you come into Glencoe, that's a new positive thing that we're doing for a grant, that we've got a $500,000 grant for that from ADECA. We've kind of moved through prior to our administration, our city had only probably gotten a $500,000 grant to do a drainage project project. And the year to date right now, we done the totals on it for our 4 years of being in office. We've covered $7,700,000 worth of grants through our community. And the city's been responsible for $2 million of that. And if anybody ever that kept up, we just was awarded on the Rebuild Alabama project, the only one in Etowah County just 2 days ago. So we work off of grants. So that tells you where our progress has been in the last 4 years.
Thank you. Going back to the heat mentality, let's keep it a line or two. I know it's tough. Joe, you set the wrong precedent. I know you had to do so, but Council President.
I think for the city of Gadsden, we you may remember we enacted our first master plan since 1975. So, raise your hand if you were even alive in 1975. So we have our first master plan. Yeah, it's there were over 2,000 participants that gave ideas and answered questions to help make that. Of course, Goodwin Mills and Kaywood was the driver of that for us, and it's about an 18-month effort. And it is voluminous. You can go to our website, cityofgadsden.com. There's a tag on there, a link. You can click to it. I forget how many hundreds of pages it is, but it's all, there's an index at the front. If you're interested in something, you can see it. But for us, I think that's critical. You just really can't go somewhere if you don't know where to go. You literally have to have a plan. And we didn't have a plan, but now we got a plan.
I'll let go again. I told you a second ago about our city putting on a bake for 5 days a week. I mean, that's pretty big for a small city. We're a volunteer fire club. And like I said, increased revenues has allowed us to do that. I'm proud of that. I talked about the ferry, all the renovations. Folks that was at the last Mayor's Association saw firsthand of what we've completed down at the Oaks Bluff Ferry. It's a great add-on, Miss Tina, when you have the bass tournaments or whatever for folks to come down here. Like a lot of times you can bring those $200,000 bass rigs down there and not get your tires dirty. So it's been a great success for us. One other one I'll briefly share: business retention. A small community a lot of time has a lot of issues with keeping businesses up and going within their city, because most of our folks leave every day to go to work unless you're retired like I am. But most folks go out to another town to work or go to another city to work. And when we first took office several years ago, we had several empty buildings in our shopping center. We can say now they're all full. We did have one closed here across the 4-lane about a year and a half ago. The 800 nationwide closed, a Family Dollar. But that's some of our biggest successes, being able to keep businesses, in a small community like that. I think that's pretty big.
I'll be really short. In 2024, we opened our new fire station, and we had never had a fully, equipped fire station before. We now have 24/7 paramedics, firemen, EMTs working at the city. It's covered 24/7. We have medics who are also reserve officers. We have officers who are also medics. So you may see a police officer, show up at a wreck and start running a pig line. But I think that's been really, really good for our city. It was a $4 million fire station. It is fantastic. If you want to come and tour it, they will be glad to take you on a tour. For 2025, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is the announcement of a bridge. So that's looking more and more real and has been a top priority since I took office in 2020. And I think we're going to hear some things on that over the next 6 months or so. So that's the biggest things that I can think of is definitely the care and safety of our residents with that 24/7 fire station, and then also traffic congestion, safety for our school children and school buses as far as the new bridge is concerned.
I think I would say that ours would be in the form of finding a yardstick to measure ourselves. And in doing that, our yardstick has to be in revenue that we're all saying it over and over again. City of Rainbow City, when we came into office, was somewhere around $10 million worth of revenue received. This year we'll go north, probably closer, just over 21 million. That's growth, y'all. And if you've ever been discouraged about your home, which is Etowah County, you need to let that begin to wane away, because what we're finding out is that people are coming here to work, to play, to establish their life and their home and their family, and I think that's always the indicator is going to be, how are you handling your revenue? I think one more thing, and I'll keep it really short and sweet. It's our ability as this group, some of this group, and I can call Scott by name, he doesn't have an occupational license tax. And over the last 3 years, we've had to fight in Montgomery for us to be able to maintain our occupational license fee. That is critical to our cities. Our cities cannot operate without it. It's an incredible amount of money in our budget, and it is what allows us to stay safe, to stay satisfied in our citizenry. And I think it would be that too. Our ability to lobby and advocate for ourselves now as a group has never been in place, and it is in place now. And I thank them for that.
A couple of things that's been brought up over the last few minutes is the bridge and South Side, which will parlay and play into the advancement of the mega site. So I want to appreciate you and your team and what y'all have done over the past several years to try to move that along. And so I know that's going to affect everybody in the room. Another thing I want to make mention of is the planning efforts. 2 or 3 of you mentioned doing a comprehensive master plan. There are other planning efforts that have been taken part of in Etowah County. And I think it's really important. It's good to hear, if you're going to do a plan and sit on the shelf and not use it, don't do it. But you all have embarked in that process. It's really important. I think it moves the needle with state and federal dollars. So kudos to you all that has done that. So moving along, thinking in terms of benefits or detriment, and thinking about geography and your natural elements in the county, what do you feel is beneficial and or detrimental, and talk about it in terms of rail, river, of course, the water, and your economic situation. So think about the benefits and the detriment of river, rail, water, and economics. And I'll start with you, Mayor Taylor.
Well, as soon as we sign an agreement and get annexation done for that mega site, we're going to have every one of those. We're going to have water, rail. We have a very diverse topography in Rainbow City. We have mountains, we have flatlands, we got the flatwoods, and everybody knows where those are. And our ability to be able to use our terrain, our geography, our topography to our advantage, I think is starting to show itself in that we took our comprehensive plan, found those catalyst projects, and began to work on those. Instead of doing, and you and I discussed this just the other day about shelving plans. I don't believe in having a study done so that we can take the study and I can pass it around to everybody and them go, oh, wow, great study. If any plan that goes unexecuted is just a dumb idea and that's my vision. I think I can back it up because, having volumes and volumes of studies and paper, it just means that I've got to pay somebody in a big truck to come shred it all for me 25 years from now. So executing plans, that's what we're here for. That's our job. Sometimes it's rude, sometimes it's vulgar, but at the same time, it's a necessity. We have to get that done.
Mayor Snyder.
I think that we have a diverse community because we have beautiful river property in the city. We've got our Southside Landing now, which is a boat launch. We've got a nice sidewalk around it, boardwalk. We've added kayaks down there. So I think the river is a huge asset to us as far as boating and recreational opportunities. Also, we are right in the center of I-20 and I-59 on 77. So I think that bridge is really, really key in our economic and retail growth. There's not much I can say at the time, but there's a lot of things coming. And hopefully we'll be able to discuss those sometime in the near future. But I think that I-59 to I-20 corridor is really, really key in economic growth with the mega site coming and other things. And then also our river for tourism and just the beauty of it. I mean, we're really diverse over there too. We have mountains and we have farms and we have the river and we have beautiful city. And I think that we have to utilize that and grow our city in the right way strategically. And we have to work on infrastructure and things of that nature because we got to get ready for the future. And we want to leave a good future to our children and grandchildren.
Mayor Reeves.
What comes to my mind is Mayor Hare and myself and City of Gadsden. We're kind of in this same boat concerning the Eastern Connector. We feel like that if the Eastern Connector develops, it's kind of in a hang-up right now. Trying to find the lead agency to take it. It was moved from HUD, I think, and I think the Army Corps of Engineers just took it back over. So it's kind of in a stale movement right now, but we feel like it is going to progress and help our communities out a good bit. You know, like they said, we're just a few minutes outside of Gadsden. We're an hour from Birmingham. We're an hour and a half from Chattanooga, just under 2 hours from Atlanta. But I feel like Oak Bluff provides a great little economic, quiet place. For the first time in the city's history that I know of, we bought 20 acres across from Samco out here to Red Hot with a full lane. We're hoping one day we're going to be able to develop that and this Eastern Connector comes through and really land something good for little old town of Oak Bluff.
Yeah, Eastern Connector is a important artery for us. If you ever come across Lincoln Boulevard Bridge trying to go to the hospital, if you hit it at the wrong time of day, you've got to wait 3 traffic light changes to get through. If you're in the back of an ambulance, you don't want to wait 3 traffic lights. So change over. So we need that so we can divert more traffic to the Eastern Connector and to free up, we're going from 6 lane on Lincoln Boulevard to a 4-lane bridge. So that's part of the problem. There's a choke point there. So that's important for us. Goodness, there's so much going on, y'all, in Gadsden. We've got, and I agree with Mayor Taylor, having a plan is only as good as the execution of that plan. So we're executing parts of that plan. We're building a new city hall. If you go down Broad Street, you can't see it until you get right to a certain point, but there's a new city hall being built between the Merrill Lynch building and the Regions Bank building. That's going to vacate the current city hall. And as we all know, if we're in government and things, you can't talk about some things, but in the very near future, there's going to be something new at the police building that's that long building that runs parallel to Albert Raines, and then City Hall, where you come for city council meetings and pay your garbage bill and stuff. There'll be something new there. And it's just transformational to downtown Gadsden. One of the things I've learned, I've served on the council now 7.5 years. Keith Williamson, our city engineer, has told me that to fix all of our drainage problems, it's about $200 million. And to fix all of our paving problems, if any of y'all are on social media, you probably haven't seen it, but people are complaining about the streets in Gadsden. Go figure. That's another $200 million. We are the recipient of being an old city. I think Gadsden was founded in the 1840s, 1850s. I was in 2nd grade. I can't quite remember what year it was. It was somewhere around in there. So, y'all, we have an old infrastructure. So what you're seeing is some of our ARPA money. We're spending $11 million on drainage problems. One of the main ones is over at, I still call it Agricola Shopping Center. No disrespect to that family that owns that. I can't remember the name of that. But we're spending about $5.4 million over there where Marvin's is. When it rains over there, y'all, it floods terribly, like 8 feet deep in certain sections. It us up to a housing project there with children. So spending money there. We're finishing up a pro drainage on Payton in East Gadsden. And I could go on and on with those projects for this $11 million. So we have some challenges being an older city, and we're landlocked. There's not a lot of places where Gadsden can grow. So it just is what it is. And so our master plan does address that. And so we have plans to improve our city. And I've said this, that, we can only be the best Gadsden we can be. You hear people, Huntsville, Chattanooga. Well, they're doing great, and I'm happy for Huntsville and Chattanooga. they're being the best Huntsville and Chattanooga they can be. I want Gadsden to be the best Gadsden that we can be. And I think we're on the path to doing that. And we're going to take some of Huntsville. We're going to take some of Chattanooga. We may take some of Birmingham and make ourselves that way. We may take some of Gunnersville because we have Patrick Lawler who developed City Harbor in Gunnersville. He's developing Coosa Harbor behind Arby's and McDonald's on Rainbow Drive. It's a $20+ million project. And I think that's going to transform Rainbow Drive right there. It's going to be really neat. We're starting to develop our river. I've heard it my whole life. We don't take advantage of the river. We have a large river that runs through Gadsden, and the city doesn't own all the property that touches the river. There is a lot of private ownership on the river. We do own some of the property, but again, the master plan is helping us to develop the river on both sides, the east side and the west side. And so, but nothing happens fast. You've got to be deliberate. You've got to be able to reach out and get the right partners to come in with the right amount of money. And when you're doing something like that, I mean, that's almost a permanent type thing. So you want to make sure you make the right decision. So, it's almost like the old axiom: measure twice and cut once. And that's what we're aiming to do and striving to do. This city streets, we hired our own paving crew. There's been this huge influx of federal money all over the country into our cities and counties, and we're all using it for infrastructure, drainage and paving. Well, there's only so many drainage and paving companies out there, so they're backed up. And so we haven't had a lot of streets paved because they're busy doing other jobs in other cities, and we're on a list. But so we took the bull by the horns. We've got our own paving company with our own equipment. So we're starting to pave, and they're learning, and we've got a great guy, Brett Watts, that used to be in construction for 40 years paving. He's our consultant heading that up. So we're going to have better streets in Gadsden soon. They're working on South 6th Street right now by Johnson's Foods on Walnut going down 6th Street. That's like a roller coaster street. So we've hired a software firm to come in and I call it X-ray our streets. They've ranked them from worst to best, and we're starting with the worst and we're working our way toward the best. So it's just a lot of activity in those regards, but a lot of intentional work being done, and a lot of it's based on our master plan.
We're one of the small cities that does have access to rail. Unfortunately, we don't have any property that the city owns to be able to develop that. Omnitrax is the main owner of the rail, and they have came and spoke with us, but we don't have the access with property, so we're kind of been dealt a bad hand on that because the families that own it, they don't want to give it up. As everybody knows, it takes years of progress or years of time to go for the rail system. So we're kind of like Mayor Reeves said, we're kind of waiting on this Eastern Connector because our traffic count is pretty high coming through our town anyhow. So Eastern Connector connects to 278, and we know they're going to come south through Glencoe headed I-20 and the other businesses that's in Calhoun County that they service. So we would wish that Eastern Connector could be connected next week as far as that goes and be ready to open. It would be beneficial to especially Gadsden, Glencoe, and Oaks Bluff.
Chairman, we'll come back to you in a later question about rail. So another eat round. I'm not going to start with the chairman this time.
I'll throw you a curveball.
And so, Mayor Taylor, besides funding, with a one sentence or one word answer, besides funding, what is your greatest need for Rainbow City?
I think I'd have to start out by saying we don't have a problem with funding, which is rare for a city to be able to say that. Our greatest need right now is to continue to get community engagement, for the community to tell us what they want. We're working on those things daily. A comprehensive plan's only as good as the update, and that's our intent right now, is to continue to update our comprehensive plan so that you'll know where to go with you.
Mayor Snyder?
Our finances are in awesome shape. We probably have the largest amount of funds we've ever had in the city. So we don't have a problem with that. Moving forward, depending on the projects, we may, but I think the biggest need in our city would be unified support on projects that we have on the table moving forward. I think there's a lot of projects we have out there that, there's some of us want to push forward and some that don't. And so they're just sitting there on the table right now. So I think unified support for these projects from elected officials and community would help us move the city forward a lot quicker.
Aries.
So again, I'm gonna go back to people shopping, citizens shopping local and keeping their tax dollars home. We all know it takes tax revenue to stimulate a local economy. And again, with citizens that may leave every day, leave their hometown or Hoach Bluff to go work, it's really important that, they keep their tax dollar here working for us to improve our services and maintain our streets. So, provide good sound police protection and fire protection. And also to supply those guys, fire and police, with the resources they need to be able to do the job. So it's always high on my list and always a concern. If I could figure out how to keep people from shopping at Johnson's and shop at Piggly Wiggly, then it would be much better. So good.
That's a good. I like it. Yeah. Well, we got to help Mac Johnson. We have to take care of Mac. Yeah, poor old Mac. That's right. But listen, y'all, the city of Gadsden finances are in excellent shape. You look back over the history, we've only had about 3 mayors, right? We've had Steve Means for 6 terms, Sherman Guyton for 4 terms. In between that, David Dolan for 1 term. Now we have Mayor Craig Ford. Everybody has their strong points. Mayor Guyton's strong point was saving money. He left office, and Gadsden, the city of Gadsden, had a lot of money, still does. Everything you've seen us do in the last 2.5 years, and I get this at church. I go to First Baptist downtown Gadsden. We have a lot of senior citizens there, and I hear it all the time. Y'all are spending us broke. We're going to go broke. Y'all are spending all the money. So, and I spoke to the seniors about a week ago. We had a luncheon, and I got to speak to them, and I think they're all going to live 10 years longer after I calm their fears. We have not borrowed any money. Everything you've seen us do in Gadsden, we've been paying for out of our front pocket. The only money we borrowed so far is the money to do Knock Low the Falls, and we borrowed that from ourselves. And we're paying it back per an ordinance that the city council did, that every dollar that comes in at Christmas at the Falls, which usually is $1 million a year, is earmarked to go to pay that $15 million that we borrowed from ourselves back. Okay? We've agreed as a council and the mayor that we will keep a minimum of 3 months of our expenses in the bank for I call it the rainy day fund. Today, you'll probably have about 4.5 months worth in the bank. We have about $29 billion in the rainy day fund. So we haven't borrowed any money except from ourselves. We got about $28 million in the bank. Our revenues are up since we've come in office this term, about 33%. The economy's going great, not only in Gadsden, but I think in all of Etowah County. This is a good time. And so we're striking while the iron's hot. And so, our finances are done well. Lisa Rosser, our longtime finance director, did a great job. Frankie Davis, Sherman Guyton did a wonderful job holding the line. So things are great there. Our biggest need, and I addressed it just a minute ago, is infrastructure. We're an older city. We need about $400 million to fix our infrastructure problems. And so that's our biggest need is, and there's other needs. Don't get me wrong, but that's probably our largest need. And I've heard Mayor Ford say this, those aren't the sexy things that you do in government that gets all the press. When you're fixing those drainage ditches that are below the ground, or you're doing the water pipe, or you're paving a street. Well, paving the street can get pretty popular, but if you're on that street, if you don't live on that street, you're angry. I've learned that. I don't know if y'all have ever run into that, but pave your street, you're happy, but Scott's mad because this street didn't get paved. So it's just part of the deal. It's just kind of how it works. But thanks.
Mayor Harry, your greatest need?
One thing we've been fortunate with is mayor and council previous did, and Councilman Wagnon's here. He's our director of finance. They were conservative with money, so we're very blessed to have a good stand of financials and everything that we can do. I mean, I'm not going to say what they normally say, but Councilman Wagnon keeps us kind of restricted so we don't get out of terms on spending. But other than he's talking about funding, I'd hate to be in the shoes of City of Gadsden trying to do a $200 million paving project. I'd want to be on the other end of the receiving the $200 million, but not the paving. But just not really, not nothing that's major. I mean, everybody's got same concerns with police and fire and everything like that, but we're kind of set into being satisfied, I guess you'd say, for right now.
Thank y'all. Mayor Taylor, a throwback term here. We used to do SWOT analysis for varying things. What is the biggest challenge long term that you think about when you think in terms of 5, 10, 20 years for your municipality? What are those long term challenges that you face that you want to address?
I think I can answer this for the whole panel. We can move on. And that, it's infrastructure. It's our ability to go and identify what's underground, what's on top of the ground. That's everyday use things. It's always going to be streets, curbs, water and sewer, utility right-of-ways and easements, those types of things, purchasing property. We are a very unpopulated city. We're only 75 years old. One of the lucky things for Rainbow City is that we don't have a downtown area. That may hurt some downtown lovers, but it's not an albatross around our neck where you have to go back in and spend millions of dollars to revitalize an old section of your town. Our city's new, only 75 years old, which we would have a couple of those in here, I'm guessing. I'm very close to it. But what we have to look at right now is to stay out ahead of the planning and the growth that our city is finding right now. When we came in, that was very easy to do. We could work with our power utility and those kind of people to help us to be able to plan that stuff out. But now it's that gap between our need and our want is fast closing. And just to the fact of the mega site, there's so much utility work and infrastructure that has to go into that so that we can assume that mega site and staying on the ball for that and spending what has been millions and millions of given dollars. And I think that is the key to our success on the mega side. There's about 50-something million dollars that, yes, Rainbow City is a partner in financially, but it's a very small partner, the same as the Etowah County Commission is. We're using federal dollars, and we're using COVID money and ARPA money and all of these things, and then our private and public partnerships have just been incredible. They've been so lucrative for that mega site for us to be able to move our region forward.
The Alabama legislature, as you all know, gave municipalities a 5th year, and so many of you know that most, except the city of Gadsden, if I'm correct, have an election coming up in August, and so the mayors have pointed to infrastructure needs that they all have, and I know it's really tough. Everybody, maybe stating the obvious, it's really tough to do that unattractive work below ground. So thanks to you all for putting in the elbow grease to see the future and the future needs. Chairman Staham, working towards the end here, I want to talk a little bit more about the mega site. You all have recently made a purchase of approximately 160 acres to, maybe the wrong term is to square off or to make larger the already large 1,200 plus acre mega site. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, what you can tell us in your work, because you've clearly got history with the development of the mega site. So talk us through that and how you see, and we'll go around the horn as well, but talk to us a little bit about that.
The purchase of the 160 acres, is that what you want to know why we did that?
Yeah,
Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So as most of you are aware, we work directly with the Commerce Department in Alabama, and when they bring prospects into Alabama. This is, nationwide. They look at different things. The first thing you're going to look at is your property. And the goal whenever you're recruiting businesses is you have to be the last man standing. So the first thing we don't want is them to look at a property and it be in a weird shape. So we had the opportunity to buy this 160 acres after someone elderly passed away. The heirs wanted to sell, their properties that they owned in several parcels around Etowah County. We had the opportunity to buy that to square up the mega site, which gives us a total of 1,250 acres. As well as whenever we have site selectors and different individuals looking at the site, they always ask the question, do you have more available? We literally, I can't go into a whole lot of details and all, but we literally have companies that are looking for more than 1,250 acres. So it's, we squared that up. We had the opportunity because of people like Norfolk Southern, who's invested, like $8.7 million into the mega side. We have a 100-acre pad ready. We've given seeds money. We just earned the second rounds of seed money, which we'll be making an announcement. That was $3.3 million. Probably the next 60 days, we'll be making an announcement of what we're doing with that monies. Y'all, it is absolutely amazing the things that are happening. But the railroad, you were talking about railroad earlier and all, we have 15 acres of railroad access. And the railroad company, we're looking for a large supplier that uses rail. We're looking for that. And that railroad goes from here to the Port of Mobile, whether you know that or not. And I don't know if you know, but they're dredging out the Port of Mobile to make it larger so that more imports and exports can come in. And with the new administration, that's come in, it's all about American made and all. Y'all, we are sitting on a gold mine right here in Etowah County. Did I answer your question?
You did. I did want to ask the panel as we close out here, we've got a couple more questions. How do you see, in brief, please, the mega site affecting your community? Do you see it as a positive? And how can you embrace that? Do you see the mega site affecting your community?
Well, for a positive, anything that's good for Etowah County is good for Glencoe. So with growth or business that come down there, we'll get the benefit of it for sure.
Council President Bag.
I think that I agree with Joey. The mega site's the biggest thing that it'll be the biggest thing that's ever happened to Etowah County. I think the challenge for Gadsden is to be prepared for that growth, for the new people that might be moving into town. Also for anytime you get a large manufacturer that's going to come to the mega site, there's a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So there's other companies that'll make widgets or whatever they need, ball bearings, whatever the case may be, to supply that plant. And so maybe they come to the outlying cities of outside of the main site. So we got to be prepared for that. We have an airport in Gadsden. We recently had some grants and we resurfaced the runway, and there's a lot of activity out there. We have a new manager out there, Anthony Tarver. He's doing a wonderful job. Came to us from the Birmingham airport. Lives in Glencoe. Find that fella. And he's doing a great job. So there's a lot of things that could attract there too. A lot of times a large company like that coming to a mega site is going to need an airport, a place where their corporate jets can land and things like that. So we're well positioned to help in that regard, and we sell fuel out there. So there's a lot of trickle down positives that are going to come out of this when it happens. I'm convinced that it's happening a lot sooner than later. And I have no knowledge of that. I just see all the investments being made by the railroad and by the power company and by Gadsden and Rainbow City and the water and the sewer. You don't do those things and just sit back and hope and pray, cross your fingers that somebody comes. And so, the great days are in store for the entire Etowah County and for Northeast Alabama. And so it's just an exciting time. I agree with Joey. That's a gold mine. It's a gold mine for great vision y'all had 12, 15 years ago. It's a gold mine for everybody in this room and for generations to come. It's a generational change. And that's part of what we're trying to do with our city is to prepare for those kind of generational changes.
Would anyone else like to answer how we see the mega site affecting our communities?
I'll say something real quick. I think what happens with the mega site as far as Rainbow City is concerned is that at the point where it's a built out mega site, that transfers over into Rainbow City beginning to provide those premium services to the mega site. That's where our job begins. We're engaged continuously with the county commission right now. Thrilled to have the county commission that we have in place. But that's when our work starts and we know that, and that preparation up till that tenant is named it's an imperative on my city to stay vigilant and stay alert.
And lastly, I think some of you may have heard me say that Etowah County, I feel like, is experiencing a renaissance from the mega site to the activation of waterfront to your downtown efforts to your planning efforts that is actually moving the needle. And one of the big components in this arbitrary person in Kansas or Nebraska or Vermont moving to the Southeast is education. So I want to ask you a little bit about the relationship between your municipality and the school system that serves you. Is there anyone that would like to jump in and talk about that connectivity piece? Mayor Snyder?
Well, we have collaborated with a high school and elementary school in Southside and really the Board of Education for many years. We've increased that collaboration by working on different projects, paving parking lots, putting up school safety signs, different things of that nature, and now collaborating with them on the sidewalks project. They're a big proponent of that, connecting those that high school to those other properties, football field and things of that nature. We're working on lighting up the area. Also with that, we provide the SROs for our schools, their equipment, their training. Our park and rec cuts their grass, keeps their grounds clean. Anything they have special come up, the city's always willing to work with them on that. And especially also our athletics. That's the need for the sports complex. We would like to be able to have that youth sports in one location, help feed that high school with your football players, your soccer players, your softball players, your baseball players. So there's a lot of infrastructure needs. And going back to the mega site, I feel like with the amount of people who will be moving into our city, the job growth that we're going to see, the job opportunities, I feel like, we're not working fast enough to move into the future. So really looking forward to getting some of these projects started. That the school collaboration, like I said, has been going on for years, and we've improved that. We've increased that amount to them, and I just always look forward to helping our young adults and children grow and learn in a positive way.
Thank you.
We're privileged here in Oaks Bluff to have a school that's been here for a long time. We've always had a great relationship with our school, elementary, middle, and high school. We always try to support him any way we can, with whatever resources we have. Just recently built some people say a new elementary school. Some people say an addition to the elementary school, but we supplied a new water supply that fed the school. And we've always helped with school safety as far as traffic, installing the new solar signs to alert traffic to slow down in school zones. Our officers go in pretty much every day at some point in time. We have an SRO officer at each school. And our police officers here in Oaks Bluff, they also make a visit and go through our schools, let the kids, let them be seen. So anytime we can help our schools, we want to do that. And Oaks Bluff's always been active in doing that. I commend our council for always being able to support that idea. And we want our kids here in Oaks Bluff to have an opportunity to receive the best education they can. And we always want to support that initiative.
want to recognize Superintendent Keith Blackwell and Assistant Superintendent Sharon Maness that are here. And I want to say we enjoy a healthy and vibrant relationship with the Gadsden City school system, have for a number of years. And there's always challenges in any kind of a relationship. Not to say that we have real big ones, but there's always things that we go back and forth on. We want to see our school system continue to thrive because we're talking about industry and people coming to the mega site. One of the things that they look for, obviously, is 1,250 acres. They also look like, who is my workforce? And are they trainable? And that's when it comes into Alan Smith that's here at Gadsden State Community College. And we all know about the new $30 billion Advanced Manufacturing Technology Center on the campus of Gadsden State Community College. That is as big as a game changer as having the mega site. So if we don't have Alan Smith and his team over there at the college and Dr. Murphy to train the future employees, we don't have any companies come here. It's just that simple. It's so competitive out there. We have to check all of these boxes. So we do it through our school system and through our students. Gadsden City enjoys a proud heritage of our schools being successful. We have certain challenges within our student body, of course, like every school system does, but we work to achieve success within those boundaries with our students. And I think the school system does a great job at having in addition, having Gadsden State Community College is a great feather in our cap to attract industry. Y'all, the jobs of tomorrow are just that. They're yesterday. The jobs of today, everybody walks around a plant, they've got either a smartphone or a tablet, and they're operating robots based on these tablets and smartphones. If you don't know how to program it, if you don't know how to fix a robot, if you don't know how to work in that system, you're not going to get a job there. These jobs are really good paying jobs. Not only that, they're the only jobs that are going to be available. So we have to have a vibrant school system. We have to be strong in that digital technology world, and we have to have the training available to put those students and people that are maybe transitioning from a certain job into this new job workforce. They have to go somewhere to be trained. And thank the good Lord, we have that in Etowah County with our community college, and I think with all of our school systems. I'm a big advocate of our county schools, the Etowah City school system. Etowah High School, I think, is your biggest feeder into most of your programs. I think, Alan, over at the college, they do a great job. Gadsden City's doing a good job of feeding that. But there are so many opportunities, but you have to have that in order to attract these industries. But I promise you, the other cities we're competing with and the other states we're competing with, they're doing the same thing. They're having these same conversations. And so we just got to be better at it than they are. And going back to one of your earlier questions, what's the biggest or the best thing in your community? And I think Mayor Taylor said, I think it's our people. I've said this for a long time. In my personal job, I've had the ability to travel to virtually every state and work and call on clients and customers. Could not wait to get back to Gadsden, Alabama, to Etowah County, Alabama. And it's because of the people. It's because of y'all. It's because of us. We've got good people here, y'all. We've got smart people, hardworking people. I always say my World War II Marine father who grew up during the Depression, some of you had those same kind of fathers and moms that grew up in that time. We're just different. I think we're better. And I think our children are better. And I think they're strong. And I think that's what makes our community better. And it's not just Gadsden, y'all. It's all of Etowah County. I see it everywhere I go. I see it in this room. I see it when I go to church. I see it when I speak at places, if I travel. I think we have the best people. And then we've got great schools and great partnerships. So, and y'all are elected until 18 months from now. So I'm not running for anything today. I'm just speaking from my heart. I truly feel this. I think we're all friends. I look at Commissioner Inser and Commissioner Grant, and others that are here. Shane Ellison, who lives 2 doors down the street from me. We just got great people in our county. I am so bullish on Etowah County, and I think all of you are too. So I hope we continue to grow and work together.
As we close out today, I would like for the panel to stand, please. I know you just lay in men a hard time from time to time, and they take arrows. But if we would, let's give these folks a round of applause for that. And thank you finally so much to Philip Hall and the Chamber of Commerce and their staff. If you would please give them a hand as we depart. Thank you so much for your time, and you are dismissed.